If you want to get into high ticket sales and make your first 5 to 10K month online, the best place to start is to become an appointment setter. And the truth is that for you to actually succeed as an appointment setter, you need to have a good skill set. And I personally went from literally being dead broke a couple of years ago, having negative balance to my name, to now having made multiple 6 figures online, having complete freedom, all thanks to high ticket sales. So in this video, I want to show you guys an entire appointment setting call that I personally took. You guys can learn the skill set, see exactly the questions that I asked, the script that I follow, the techniques that I use, everything to learn the skills at the highest level. Because the truth is that when you've learned how to do appointment setting properly, finding good opportunities, finding good job offers, and making 5 to 10K a month becomes easy. So we're gonna hop into my computer right now. I'm gonna show you this entire call, break it all down for you so you can just learn the skills set from me directly. And by the end of this video, we'll have an entire blueprint of exactly how to run a good appointment setting call that you can just use, start practicing right away to land your first role and perform in that role as well. So let's get into it. All right, so just to give you guys some quick context here before we dive into this call, there's basically 2 different types of appointment setting that exists within the high ticket sales industry. There is DM setting, and then there's phone setting. So this is going to be a phone setting call, meaning it's basically a 10 to 20 minute conversation over the phone, where my main goal is to qualify the prospect and then book them in for a closing call with the closer on the sales team. So I'm not making the sale on this call. I'm not overcoming all the objections and dropping price and things like that. The goal here is just to understand the prospect's problem, getting pain out of them, qualifying them, making sure it's actually a good fit for the program that I'm selling, and then booking them for the closer and making sure they actually show up for that second call. So it's going to be the first call. I'm calling them. This is someone that's actually showed interest, that they put in their information on like a landing page on a website to get contacted. I'm calling them to basically get an idea of like who they are, what their goals are, if we can actually help them, and then just getting them to show up to the next call. And the way that I'm doing that, you will see me do this throughout the call, is I'm basically digging into their problems, figuring out what their goals are, and then positioning the next call that I'm going to book them for with a closer as the solution, as the call where they basically get the solution to the problems that they have. So let's get into this straight away. I'm going to break it down step by step, everything from the beginning here. And it's going to start off as me basically making an outbound call, so me calling the prospect that has showed interest through an ad or through a video that they saw somewhere online. So let's get into this. I'm going to speed this up as well. Ring, ring. Hey, is this Leon?
Yes, this is Leon. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Leon. It's just Alex here calling from Alex Bergstrom's team. I saw you just responded to one of our videos about like potentially becoming a remote setter, and I just had a couple of minutes over. So I thought I'd just touch base, see if I can maybe help you out. Do you have a couple of minutes? So here you guys see, in the beginning, super simple, opening up with a very friendly, neutral tonality. Hey man, I saw that you responded to one of our ads about becoming an appointment setter. So this would be for appointment setting offer in this case, in this role play. And I was just reaching out to see if I can maybe help you out, give you some more information. What we're doing there is just like simple opening, giving him an idea of like who we are, why we're calling, because he doesn't expect us to be calling. We're just calling him like out of the blue, so to speak, even though he showed interest. This is not a booked call, you know? So this guy, we're calling him like at a random time. So just reminding him about why we're calling, and then giving him a reason for the call as well. Like, I'm giving you a call to give you some more information. That's obviously something that he wants. He wants to get more information. So that's how we're opening up. And then we're going to lead this into asking him questions to qualify him, get the pain, get the problem, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
Cool, man. So usually what I found works best in these calls is just getting some quick context about kind of what your goals are, what have you interested in looking into this and things like that. And then like based off of that, I can maybe like just give some more information right away, or just connect you with something that's going to be helpful for you. Is that cool with you?
Yep, that's fine.
So important thing here, the reason I'm telling him that, like I'm going to ask you some questions, and then based off of what you tell me, I'll connect you with something that's going to be helpful. We always want to position what we do in his best interests. Because if you just hop on us, if you just call this guy out of the blue, you start asking him questions, there's no reason for him to just like answer our questions, you know, because he doesn't know what he's going to get from doing that. So instead, what's really, really important to do is to give him a reason for why we're going to ask these questions that's positioned in his best interests, and make him think like, okay, if I answer Alex's questions on this call, I will get what I want, which is more information about this opportunity, you know? So that's why I'm asking, or that's why I'm telling him that. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to figure out where you are, what your goals are, and then based off of that, I'll be able to point in the right direction, which is also what we do at the end of the call, you know? So we're actually going to be pointing him in the right direction as well by booking him in with a closer at the end if he's qualified. Cool, man. So when you first saw that video, what kind of like caught your attention and like motivated you to reach out in the first place?
Well, I saw the guy in the video like talk.
So first question here, super like broad question, just get an idea of like his intent basically. Like what caught your attention? We want to figure out like why did he reach out in the first place when he saw that ad that he saw.
Talking a lot about making money online, which is something that I've been interested in for a long time. And there also seems to be like a lot of potential to make like really good amounts of money. And so that's why I handed in my application, because I've been trying to like find a way to make money online from home as an entrepreneur. And this seems like it would be right up my alley.
Gotcha. Cool. That makes sense. So what do you do for work right now?
So I'm actually unemployed. I used to work.
Okay, so let's pause there. First off, we have a brief idea of what he's looking for. He's been seeing people make money online. He wants to get a bit more freedom, it sounds like. Cool. We have some brief context about like why he's here on the call, why he put in his information to get contacted. Then we want to move straight into his current situation. That's really like the main thing we're looking for right now. Is like, what is his current situation? What does he do for work right now? What is the reason behind why he's on the call? You know, what does he want to change basically? Does he want to get out of his 9 to 5? Is he like what situation is he in right now, and what is he looking to change exactly? That's what we're going for right now. Basically, understanding the problem.
Worked like a few months ago, but I recently like quit my job to decide to go all in on like entrepreneurship and make money. So I've been just studying day trading the past few months, but it's not really been working out for me. So I've been looking around for like other opportunities in e-commerce or now with sales, which I had never heard about before, remote sales. So right now I don't have a job.
Gotcha. Cool. That's quite a big step, like leaving your job. Like what kind of made you take that step and like want to get out?
Yeah, so really I've been unhappy with my job for like a long time because I've,
So here, this is all about just being very aware on your call and listening to like what he's telling you basically. He told me that he's left his last job to be able to go all in on trading, which is obviously a big step to take. You know, there's obviously most likely is going to be something very strong that's driving him to make such a big decision to like just leave his last job. You know, so that's something I want to dive into. Just figure out like straight away like why did you take that step? You know, what made you like leave your last job? Because it's probably some like the driving force behind him making a decision to leave his job to go all into trading is probably going to drive him to want to like get into this as well and still want to like continue that kind of path towards freedom, if that makes sense. So that's why I dig into this, because it's a big kind of like open loop and like a thing that I want to just like dig into and figure out like why did he take that big step, just to have that kind of ammo going into the remaining of the call, because there's probably going to be a lot of pain and a lot of like emotion for him, like emotional reasons for why he did that. And I want to know those reasons, because if he tells me those reasons, he's going to feel the pain and like a reason to change, basically.
I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I'm on Instagram a lot, and you constantly see all these young guys just making insane amounts of money, driving Porsches, driving Lamborghinis. And I really don't want to be like left behind and be one of the normal people who work 9 to 5 until I go into retirement. So I've decided that I need to accomplish this and make that future a reality for myself as well, and make sure that I have the same sort of lifestyle that those people have. Because if they can make it, then why can't I? Yeah, 100%. And I'm sorry if I missed that, but like, how long ago did you say you left the job? So at this point, it's been maybe like 3 months since I quit my job. Gotcha. Okay, got it. All right, man. So I guess like the biggest question is like when you say like you sound like you really don't want to be like in a normal position, like you said, you don't want to be left behind. Like, what is it about being like a normal, traditional like job that you really don't like, I guess? Well, I guess. So yeah, what we're doing here now, we're just going deeper. He's told us that he doesn't see himself being in the 9 to 5. He doesn't want to go that traditional path. What I'm doing right now, I'm just getting a better idea of like why specifically does he not want to go that traditional path. What is it about 9 to 5 path and like being a average 9 to 5er that he doesn't like? You know, he's going one layer deeper and really clarifying about like the pain that comes with the problem that he's experiencing, basically. First of all, I just don't like feeling like I'm working for someone else and they get to keep all the profits and all the money goes into their pockets and I'm just left with like the spare change, because that's how most businesses operate. There's one guy on top who makes all the money, and the rest are left to just live on the scraps. And fundamentally, that just doesn't sit right with me. I feel like I deserve better than that. And I'm like, I can't stand for working my ass off to make another guy rich. At that point, I might as well just work for myself and make myself rich, right? So that's the main reason behind it. Yeah. How long have you felt that way for when it comes to like what you're describing to me right now? How long has that been like kind of top of mind for? Well, I guess I've known about it for like my entire adult life since I started working. But previously, it wasn't anything that like faced me or wore me down. I was happy just working as I was. But then a few months ago, I went through like a rough breakup, and I decided that I wanted to make change in my life. And it made me like realize that I want to put an effort towards becoming a better person, and just accomplishing something. Like I don't want to be a normal guy. I want to be like elite, and really be proud of myself and what I've accomplished. Cool. I love it, man. It sounds like you have a lot of like drive. So this is really, really important. Like last like 2 minutes here or like 60 seconds, he just spilled a bunch of problem, emotional drivers, all that kind of stuff.
He doesn't feel like he could be like he's gone through a bunch of like different things in the last, I think he said like last couple of months, like a tough breakup. He doesn't feel like he's the man that he could be. Like there's a lot of like really deep rooted stuff there that we want to like just write down on a phone setting call. We don't need to deep dive into that. The closer, like so the actual sales call that we're gonna book him for, on that call, the closer is gonna go deeper on like the more like identity stuff of like how he doesn't feel like he's able to fulfill his potential and all that stuff to really get him to actually like step up and make change and actually buy the program or like commit to taking action. On this call, we don't need to go any deeper. We've gotten a bunch of pain problem for this guy, which is great. So at this point, we can just move on. And what I do here is when I move on, I basically understand what his problem is. So I understand that he doesn't want to be in a 9-to-5. He doesn't feel like that's the path he want to take. He feels like he could just achieve more in his life. Then he has tied that to how long has he felt that way for. That's a great process you want to use on your appointment setting calls to basically just like expand on the problem, get them to feel more pain and get them to feel more reason to change, is tying whatever the problem is to a time frame. So for example, if someone is like, yeah, I've been wanting to leave my 9-to-5 because I'm working crazy hours, I don't have time to see my kids. Then you want to tie that problem to this has been going on for 2 years, for example. Because if something has been going on for 2 years, it's a bigger problem compared to if it's been going on for only like 2 weeks, Not being able to spend time with your kids for 2 years is a massive problem. Not being able to spend time with your kids for maybe 2 weeks is not as big of a problem. So just keep that in mind, is you want to tie the problem to a time frame. It just expands the problem, makes them feel more pain. It's a really powerful thing to use on your appointment setting calls.
I have a lot of ambition, which is really good there. So I'm curious, like what you mentioned, you've been doing like the day trading so far, right? Like how has that been going so far with the day trading up until this point?
Yeah, so the reason I started with day trading was primarily just because that was like the first opportunity that I learned about. And I've seen like crazy people making like $250,000 in 2 months. And I've seen like straight up millionaires from like day trading.
So now we're basically digging into like what he's done to fix this, because I feel like I have the problem. I understand what the pain is for this guy, why he wants to make change. Obviously, he has a lot of like emotional drive to make change. You can tell on like how he speaks. It's very like he needs to make change. So now he's going into like what has he actually done to fix it. I want to figure out like how much action has this guy actually taken to make this change. Figure out like what path is he on right now, and basically just make sure that he doesn't have like any like parallel path to get to his goal. Because the thing we don't want to do, we don't want to have like an entire setter call, figure out this is your problem, these are your goals, and then realize that this guy is already on a path that he believes is going to get him to his goal. Because in that case, there's no reason for him to buy another coaching program and buy our product. So we need to like eliminate his current path from where he's at right now to where he wants to go. And that's why we're digging in and figuring out what he's actually tried so far and how that's going for him.
So it is an incredible opportunity, but it's also so incredibly difficult. And I've been like hardcore studying now for a few months, and I just realized everything about day trading, it basically goes against common human sense. Like it fucks with your mind, and it's so hard to like wrap your head around, and it's incredibly taxing mentally. So I just feel like, sure, it's a great opportunity. I love the aspect of being able to just sit in front of a computer, just press some buttons and literally print money from thin air. But I've also realized it's going to take too long, it's going to be too stressful, and I'm not going to be able to make it in the time span that I need. So that's why I'm looking for better, like more straight up business-oriented opportunities.
Gotcha. But when you say like in the time frame that you need, like what do you mean? Like is this becoming more like a priority where you need to like get something going in terms of like getting money in, or?
Oh yeah, it's 100% of the.
Yeah, here, this guy, that's a big thing I always want to dive into. That's why it's so important to be really aware and really be like in tune and have your focus on the words that he's saying, because they're always gonna, like the prospect is always gonna say these like small keywords that are super important, and if you miss them, you might miss like a massive pain point for them. This guy was saying like, yeah, that is not gonna allow me, like trading is not gonna allow me to get an income as soon as I would, or as soon as I need to, something like that. And when he says like I need to, those words kind of implies, because again, this guy is not working right now. He said that before. So in the context, it makes sense. Like this guy probably like he needs to start making money, or else he's gonna like end up on the street, So time is of the essence. There's a lot of urgency for this guy to make change, and that's why I'm digging into this, because again, like if this guy hasn't made money for a long time and he's been like trying to make money, he's living off savings. There's a lot of urgency behind that. Like he needs to start making money, or otherwise he might be in a shitty position. So that's why we're digging into this and figuring out exactly like what's the time frame and like how urgent is this for him.
A priority for me. Every day that I'm not like making progress is really depressing, and it taxes on me mentally to not feel like I'm improving, actually getting somewhere. And basically my worst fear at this point is me having to go back to a 9-to-5 and settle, and just settle for a normal salary, settle for working for someone else and making them rich. And I don't see myself being able to live that sort of lifestyle. And also, it's becoming a problem financially because I don't have a job and I'm running out of my savings. So preferably, I want to make money before I completely deplete my savings and I'm forced to go back to 9 to 5. So I am under some form of like time restriction.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, got it. So have you looked into anything else then, like outside of trading and like now obviously remote sales?
Yeah, so I guess I've been looking around a lot into e-commerce and dropshipping, and I've heard like some insane success.
Yeah, so there we got a bunch of urgency, like he has to make change now, he's running out of savings, blah, blah, blah. Then we want to figure out, okay, other than trading, obviously, like trading has been the thing that he's been trying to do to fix the situation. It doesn't seem like it's been really working out. We want to figure out, like, is this guy doing something else? Because this guy might be doing, maybe he started like drop shipping last week. We don't know, you know? So we want to figure out like what he's doing outside of that, or if he's doing something else to, if that's the case, eliminate that path and really sell him on, okay, remote sales is the path in this example, because we're selling a remote sales offer. But basically it's like, sell him on that our offer and like our path to success is the best path for you to take, and eliminate other paths that he could potentially be on. Because that's what we're doing right now, figuring out what things he's been trying, how those things have been going, and we're getting closer and closer to like just selling him on remote sales, this being the path, and then booking him in for the next call.
Stories, and it seems like everyone and their mother is making money from dropshipping online. So I've seen a lot of content about it on YouTube and Instagram. The problem I find is, one, I've heard it's like unbelievably difficult, but people make it seem easier than it is, just to like sell you on their course and whatever. So I find the struggle to be finding who to trust and who to learn from. I'm also just not sure if it's worth the time investment. Like, if I have to spend 8 hours a day for the next 2 years and I still don't make it, like at what point do I give up? And at what point do I realize that I've been wasting my time and this isn't real? So I'm a bit scared about going into dropshipping and e-commerce, but I've been considering doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I definitely have some thoughts for you there as well regarding that. But it makes sense. So I guess like the question for you is like, let's say you're able to like figure this stuff out and like actually like finally kind of break through and get to a point where you can actually start. Cool. So now we have an idea. Like he's been doing trading, hasn't been working out. He hasn't actually tried anything else because he's been scared to try other opportunities. I'm happy with that. We can move on. Now we move into the goals part and figuring out like what's the actual desired situation, like what he actually wants to really like build that like heaven island for him of what he wants to achieve. Because if trading hasn't been working out for him, it's pretty obvious. Like he understands that trading is not going to be the path that's going to get him to his goal. He is not trying something else. Then we don't really need to eliminate other paths. We can just sell him on the path of why remote sales is going to be the best path for him to take, aka selling him on our offer, why our offer is going to be the best path for him to succeed on. So let's keep going here. Make an income that you want, start becoming an entrepreneur, not have to go back into the 9 to 5 job. Like, what would be the goal for you there? Like, what would you want to be bringing in, like ideally per month, to be able to have the freedom that you want and live the life that you want?
Well, I guess to start off, I would feel quite accomplished if I could bring in at least like $5,000 a month post-tax. Because at that point, I already make well above what most normal people in my country makes, and most people probably cash out like $2,500 a month. And those people, they have to work 40-hour work weeks. So if I can make twice that and work less, I will already feel successful. But then that's not my final goal, because I want to be like in complete control of my future. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to drive fancy cars. I want to own a Porsche. And I also want to be able to give back to my family, my friends, and my grandmother. And that's a higher state of financial wealth. So the goal is to become honestly a millionaire, not to sound cliche. But at a starting point, just making 5K would be sufficient.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Love it, man. Awesome. So pretty straightforward, man. It sounds like you have very clear goals, like very clear direction for you looking to go in, which is great. Like that helps a lot in terms of like obviously being able to get there if you really know what you're looking for and like where you're going. So I have some thoughts for you here, man. Definitely. Cool. So now this one, I feel like we have everything we need. Like he told us basically everything that we need to know right there. He wants to be a millionaire long term. He wants to drive nice cars. He wants to provide for his family. But his short term goal, I think he said around like 5 to 10K, if I'm not mistaken. So we have all the context that we need, because on a setter call and on a appointment setting phone call, you don't need to go super deep on the problem and exactly like how he's going to feel and all that stuff. He kind of went into that to a certain extent, but it's enough just understanding like how much he wants to make in the short term, like having an amount, 10K a month, for example, understanding where he's at right now, how much he's making, and the fact that this guy doesn't work right now. We have everything that I feel like I need to know like about this guy on this call. So now it's about just going into actually like pitching him on why appointment setting is going to be the best path for him to take. So why like remote sales, aka the product that I'm selling on this call, why it's going to be the best path for him to take, and then booking him in for the call. So a couple of key notes here that I want to share with you guys is, number one, notice the tonality that I'm having on this call. I keep a very, very neutral tonality throughout the call. I see a lot of people making the mistake of having this super like upward inflecting tonality where it sounds like you kind of questioning yourself in all the questions that you're asking. You want to avoid that. You want to keep a certain
neutral tonality. Almost like if you're giving orders to someone, kind of like how I'm speaking right now. That's a very good tonality to have. You sound neutral. You don't sound like you're kind of questioning yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to sound like some crazy, like military, like aggressive dude, like seem like a dick on the call, you know? So neutral, friendly, but certain tonalities. You sound confident. You sound like a leader. It's very clear that I'm leading this guy through the call. I'm asking clear, short questions with certain tonality. It sounds like I've had this call multiple times. That comes from practice because I've taken thousands of calls like this back to back. So that's why it sounds like that. But the way you can like imitate that is by using a certain neutral tonality and trying to avoid that like upward inflecting like tonality where it sounds like you're asking questions. And also just doing as many reps as possible. If you practice this script over and again, you practice doing calls, role play with friends, family members, things like that, you will naturally start speaking in the correct way as well, and you'll have calls like this. So now we're gonna get into the pitch, which is probably the best part of this call, where I do a pretty like advanced pitch, I guess you could say, for like a phone setting call, where I basically just want to make sure that this guy is really, really bought in to our offer before I book him for the closer. The reason why I do that is because if you want to make a lot of money as an appointment setter, the best way you can do that is getting people extremely bought into the opportunity that you're selling. If people are bought in when they show up to the call with the closer and they think to themselves, this is the vehicle that I need to do to succeed. For example, in this case, I want to make 10K a month and have freedom. Appointment setting and like remote sales is the best path for me to get there. If this guy believes that, he is going to be so much easier to close for the closer. Because the closer basically needs to overcome maybe some limiting beliefs, build some urgency, and then you sell him on the program. It's so much easier to do compared if the guy shows up to the call and doesn't really know what remote sales even is. So that's basically what the rest of this call is going to be. Me selling him on the opportunity, getting him bought in, and then booking the closing call. So let's check it out. There's some like feedback if you're open to it.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Because like to be honest with you, man, like it sounds like you, like I said, you have clear goals. You're obviously a very like ambitious, young, driven guy, and it's like you tried the stuff to get there. It's not like you're not doing something to get there, and you're just like dreaming. Like you're obviously doing stuff to get these goals. You quit your job. You're doing day trading. Sounds like the biggest thing that's kind of like missing for you in terms of getting to these goals of becoming an entrepreneur, making money that you want. This is the fact that you've kind of been in very complex opportunities. You know, like you said, you've been doing day trading. That takes a lot of time to learn. You've heard about e-commerce, and a lot of people that I work with, and myself included, you know, they've done the same stuff. They tried e-commerce, they tried trading, and the issue with most of those things is like it requires you to learn like 5-10 different skills at the same time. It's like how to market yourself, how to get clients, how to build websites. Or with trading, like you're taking a ton of risk. It takes you a lot of time to learn the skill. We're talking like years in order to start making money from it. So I don't think the issue for you is that you're not like committed. It sounds like you have a lot of commitment, a lot of drive. It sounds like you're just putting that into the wrong type of vehicle, the wrong type of opportunity right now. And the good part about it is like because doing remote sales basically solves that problem for you completely. Because remote sales, I mean a remote seller specifically. No, it's basically what I'm doing. Very simple stuff. I'm just helping him see why the stuff that he's tried before didn't work out. You know? I'm kind of like taking the blame away from him. It's like, it's not your fault. Like, it sounds like you've been working hard. It sounds like you're committed. The issue and the reason why you haven't succeeded is because you've been in the wrong vehicles. You've been pursuing the wrong type of opportunities that even if you worked super hard, it was hard for you to succeed with it, you know? And that's going to kind of almost like a light bulb moment for him where he's like, oh yeah, this is the reason why it hasn't worked out. I want to give him some like insights that's kind of, I guess, like new to him, you know, stuff that he hasn't thought about before. Because then he's going to realize, yeah, like this guy's right. Like the reason why I haven't succeeded was because of this. It's so simple. So I just need to, and then obviously I position what we do as the solution. So I tell them like, this is the reason why everything that you tried in the past hasn't worked out. And this is also the reason why what we do on our end and why this offer and this opportunity is going to be different. If you get that like method, or if you do that process correctly, people are going to show up to the next call and people are going to buy 100%. Super powerful stuff. So basically, just to recap, what I'm doing here is I want to position and just help him understand why everything that he's tried in the past hasn't worked out and why this opportunity is going to be different from the stuff that he's tried before. That's what we're doing right now. Basically, what it is instead of having to build your own business and learn like 15 different skills, you're focusing on one single skill. You're focusing only on learning literally the most fundamental skill in business, which is sales. And then you just need to like find one client to work for, one business to sell for. And doing that, you can make 5-10K a month fairly quickly if you're committed to it. You can decide your own hours, work from wherever you want, and then also set yourself up so in the future, if you want to do day trading, if you want to do like whatever the long-term goal is to become an entrepreneur, you can use the capital and the skills that you've learned to then put into that and have more success as a result of that. So honestly, like based on what you're sharing, man, I think it's going to make a ton of sense for you to get into this because it's going to align with your goals. It's going to allow you to make the money you want. It's going to allow you to break through so you don't need to go back into the 9-to-5 job because the path to 5K a month in this industry is way quicker because really like all it takes to succeed is learning the skill set. So again, this can be applied to any offer that you'd be selling. If you're selling a fitness offer, for example, you do the same thing. You basically sell them on your guys' unique method to success. So let's say that someone is looking to lose weight and you're selling like a carnivore coaching offer, or like a vegan coaching offer, or like a keto offer. Then what you will do is you will tell someone, okay, so the reason why like the stuff that you tried in the past hasn't worked out is because you've been committed to the diet, you've been sticking to the diet, let's say, or let's even say like this, let's say you had the drive and the commitment to succeed, but because you've been eating the wrong way, you get hungry, you get hungry because of that, and that's why you always fell off the path. What we do on our end is, with the way that we'll teach you to eat, you're not going to get hungry, you're not going to feel hungry, or whatever the benefit is of what you do, what you teach. And because of that, you will finally achieve your goal. So basically, it's help them understand like the stuff you tried in the past, it hasn't worked out because of X, Y, and Z reason. What we do is going to work out because it fixes X, Y, and Z problem. This is a super powerful framework. It works for any niche, health coaching, diet coaching, like even dating coaches. The reason why the stuff that you tried in the past hasn't worked out is because you've been dating women or you've been meeting women in this method. And that doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z. And what we do on our end fixes that, because what we do is we teach you how to meet women through cold approach, which like completely removes the risk of X, Y, and Z, So it's like get into that way of thinking. Whatever offer that you're selling, whatever offer, whatever opportunity that you're selling, you can always use this framework when you're pitching. It's super powerful. So let's jump a bit forward here. That's basically what I'm doing right now, is pitching the opportunity, getting him bought in on this being the path to his goal. Getting good at it and finding good business for you to take. Or what are your thoughts on that? And now he's getting his buy-in that he actually agrees with what I'm saying. Because we can't just talk at someone. We need to actually like ask them and get him to actually tell me like, yeah, Alex, what you're saying makes sense. Because otherwise he might not be agreeing. So we just want to make sure like this guy actually agrees with us before we move into booking the call. So think about it. This is almost like a sequence, where you're building a building. First off, you want to make sure that he actually believes that our solutions, so appointment setting, is the path for him to get to his goal. We get his confirmation, get him to say yes, then we've built the base. Then the next step is booking him in for a call, so a sales call. We're not going to call it a sales call, but booking him in for the next call. That's like the next kind of block. But that is impossible to, or not impossible, but it's very hard to get him to agree to book into the next call if he doesn't agree that this is actually the best path to success.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I buy everything you're saying. I think it makes complete sense, just learning one skill and just profiting as much as you can from it. And I feel like this might actually be the opportunity, because it truly does sound amazing.
Able to communicate very clearly with me on this call, and that's really what it takes to get good at this, So from here on, man, what I think is going to make the most sense for us to do. So that we have his buy-in. He wants to, he sees this being the right opportunity for him. Now the next step is just booking him in for the actual sales call. Considering it sounds like it's a good fit, but you probably have like more questions, more things that you want to know, and like things like that. And to be honest, I'm not really like the right person to walk you through all those details and things like that. So what's going to make most sense from here is I can connect you with one of our top coaches, basically Alex's right-hand guy. And his job is basically two things. He can sit down with you over an actual call where you guys can go into everything more in depth, get really clear on what your goals actually are, see if those actually align with what we do in remote setting, map out a game plan for you, a customized game plan for you of exactly what like a path into this industry is going to look like. We'll give you the timeline, answer all of your questions, so you can actually understand how this truly works. And then, like, if stars align, if they think you're a good fit, and if you want to hear about it, he can also walk you through like what working with us closer one-on-one would actually look like, investment, timeline, all that good stuff. So I think that would make the most sense for you to sit down with him, hear about how everything works, and then be able to take it from there. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, how does it sound? So now the last like 60 seconds, I was basically like pitching, talking with the closer. So I position the closer as the partner to the business owner. So like the business owner's partner who can be able to, he's an expert on the subject. He can sit down with you, walk you through the step-by-step plan. You basically just want to like build that person up to make it sound like this valuable person to speak with, who's going to like give them the solution to the problem and all that stuff. It's the more you can do that, like build that person up, the more likely this prospect is going to be to show up to the next call, because it feels like he's going to talk with someone that's actually valuable. He's not going to like reschedule the call. He's not going to like just no show because he's been given a favor to speak with the closer. So that's super important. You want to make that feel like a scarce and really valuable favor that they're being given when you're booking them to the next person or to the closer. You don't want to be like, yeah, so the next step from now on is just to book you with this guy, because then you're going to feel like they're just part of a sales process. It's all about, like, okay, so we had this conversation. I think what's going to make most sense for us to do from now is I'm willing to book you in and almost like give you access to business owner's partner. He's going to be able to sit down with you, walk you through next steps, walk you through a plan, exactly step by step, a roadmap of how we can help you go from where you are to where you want to go. Like, just build it up and make it very valuable for them. People will show up, show rate is going to be higher to the next call. meaning that you will make more money as an appointment setter because it's a commission-based role.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against that. That sounds like a great opportunity. And I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I lose a bit of time. So,
or 2 p.m. Eastern time better for you tomorrow? How do I call?
I
Now what we do is we just book him in. So I give him 2 different options. This is another like quick tip here is when you book people in, you want to give them options. You know, so like, does this or this time work better for you? That's super powerful because then people will, instead of telling them like, yeah, okay, so I have 2 p.m. tomorrow. Does that work for you? Then it's like a yes or no question. You want to do what's called an option close. So give them 2 different options. Does 2 or 4 p.m. work better for you? Then they're picking between yes and yes. So like having a call at this time, having a call at this time, versus having a call or not having a call. You know? So quick thing is make the booking process way easier when you give people options. So you do the pitch, you tell them like, okay, this is going to be the next part of the process. I can book in with a coach. They can walk you through the step-by-step plan and break everything down for you, answer your questions. I have their availability right now. I could get an opening at tomorrow at this or this time. What works better for you? And you just do that until you find a time, you book them in, and that's the setter call right there. So hopefully this is valuable for you guys. It's literally like exactly what I did to be able to make my first 7, 8, and 9K month in remote high ticket sales. And the best way for you to actually apply the stuff that you learn from this video right now is to start practicing this stuff. Use the same questions, the same process that I just walked you through in this video, understanding people's problem, understanding what they've tried to fix the problem, their goals, and then pitching the opportunity and pitching the next call. And just practice that. Find friends, family members. If you want to learn from me directly one-on-one and like have me give you feedback, I've obviously taken thousands of calls. I've helped multiple guys as well get started as beginners in remote sales, get into this, land their first sales role, scale to 5, 10K a month. So if you want help from me one-on-one and be part of a community where we can practice, we can get feedback from me one-on-one and get my hand holding to succeed in remote high ticket sales appointment setting, then you can apply to join my one-on-one coaching, my inner circle down below. Only do that if you're actually serious though, because this takes hard work. You're not going to make 5 to 10K a month if you're just looking for handouts. So if you're someone who's actually serious, you're actually committed to working hard and really like want to achieve success in remote sales and high ticket sales, click the link down below. You can apply for that. And hopefully this is valuable for you. If you have any questions or if you are wondering about anything with high ticket sales, send me a DM on Instagram. I reply to all DMs over there. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.